What is going on? The gaming land. Whether you do PvE, PvP. I actually was not gonna do this, but I ended up getting it anyway on pre-order. And I feel like certain builds, like I've been running good old Strand, kind of just something different maybe, I don't know. But threadlings, more threadlings, right? So, without further ado, I'm kind of dialing in to, my different builds with certain weapons, obviously. Like, I love my grenade abilities builds. This is obviously not a lot different. However, it's the threadlings that make it, more fun, unique, different. Because who wants to aim, right? Now, I notice my most success rate with consistent threadlings per weapon thus far that I've unlocked, because there's still some other stuff, like, this one's actually probably pretty good too, but I have the enhanced trait, or what have you, so it's a little bit better, I suppose, than normal, which is why I probably get more success off of this rifle. But this is Tessellation in all its glory. So basically, whatever subclass you run, it's going to match it. So, if you get like those builds where there's really not a lot of options, especially with Strand, you now have a filler, which, it's a fusion rifle at the end of the day. I get it. It's not always everyone's favorite, but it works. It does the job. And then final blows grant grenade energy. So if you have your abilities where, like, they're not super high, maybe you put in their resilience and recovery more, this is going to help you get some of them back, which, that's why I like running with these ability builds. Demolitionist, Wellspring, those stats are really, I don't really use that much. Demolitionist, I just added some stuff though. I need to get the catalyst back, but anyway, it's kind of a perfect filler. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a cheesy location here and kind of showcase. Now, what I do notice a lot, like, I've gotten excited about my abilities builds from time to time where constant grenades, constant rifts or class ability, skill, and then melees. But on the lower end, you can kind of spam them more. I feel like they're not as hard to get to proc consistently. Whereas when you get into the sweatier stuff, what you're doing is you're kind of slowing it down, if that makes sense. Targets for days. Everybody's going to be killing stuff. This is a big group. So, what you want to do is, trying to dial in on some of my builds that stuff that you can't help. You can't assume other Guardians players are going to, like, understand a build you're running. And if you're trying to proc something, it can be a bit of a hassle. Alright, long press, use my grenade. Kind of show you this attack. Not too bad, nice little boom. But you see, it's going to be whatever subclass. So this is going to be Strands. We can miss that. So actually isn't too bad either. Oh, big guy got me. So, let's say you're running a strike or something. Nightfall's probably going to be a little bit different on the higher tiers. But if you use your abilities and you miss and not proccing, somebody kills them like the Solar Warlock when you're trying to get a melee kill, or you just completely miss, right? What I like to have is that alternative to refill said ability, the fuel you can feed to it essentially. So let's say I'm just gonna do that. Alright, so let's say, I throw my rift, bam, I use my grenade. You see I'm kinda down halfway melee. That's why I like having these types of weapons, because a lot of them are predecessor on feeding each other, which also includes, it's actually a pretty good chunk. It refills grenades. Kind of see there. So it's a nice little filler. If you're a fan of the fusion rifle, you're probably gonna love it. If you're not as much a fusion rifle fan, you'll probably notice the different buff from it is actually not too bad. Typically my exotics are kinetic or power slot, which is why I mostly have the backups there in those two boxes. But some of these builds, like Strand specifically, I only have legends, right? So I need an exotic here, so I was using Telesto, Jotun, kind of trying to fill in the perfect gun, because I don't like running two separate auto rifles, two separate pulses, something like that. So it's slowly evolved from like, I love using a grenade launcher with an auto rifle, but it's also certain grenade launchers I like to use. See how it works against a big guy. It's actually doing some damage there. Oh my gosh. And this is, I'm only finally at 1800, 850. It's only an 1801, so you see I'm not super high. I'm not even at the hard cap level yet. Go use it on some of these bosses over here. We'll consume the grenade. Test it out. It's actually pretty decent damage. Sure, if you're overpowered artifact level, it's gonna be uber. I don't need this chest, but I feel like I earned it. I'm gonna open it. So essentially, if you got the extra $100 for the pre-order, go ahead and grab it, because I just happened to get lucky on this build, and it's perfect for it. I'm not gonna need my grenade to kill this through. Unless there's actually a cooldown on the grenade consumption. That's good to know. So basically it's an explosive blast once you get your grenade consumed from it. Come on, fill my grenade. That's melting him pretty good. I think more special on you. Alright, send the grenade. No, wrong button. too many different builds. So I kind of want to try it with my solar and void as well, see how it goes. Because it basically matches your subclass. So like, again, if you have builds predecessive on like elemental kills, damage, something like that, it's actually not a bad filler. I mean, I never really liked fusion rifles to begin with, but it really is a pretty good fusion rifle. Solar Warlock is just destroying everything. I mean, there's more ammo for this gun. Probably gonna lose my grenade charge again. No special. I'm pretty sure it said something about the catalyst, I want to say, when I got pre-order, but I don't know if it's on it. It's just not showing up masterworked or whatever. But you can do the long press to eat your grenade, which I don't know why it's not showing it there. Grenade energy. Squish it. So, like, on the lower stuff, obviously, you see, like, it's gonna be viable, but I'm sure in the sweatier stuff, which it's too early for me to start running nightmares and stuff like that, but so if this is going to be a big part of the gun, you know what you can do actually is, nope, I'm not changing that. What the hell did I put? Maybe on my own phone? I had a weapon finder on here somewhere, maybe not. So like heavy weapon finder, obviously this would be replaced with special ammo scout. I don't know if I want to get rid of that, but just for the sake of this, why not? Actually, no, I'll do the finder. So now there should be an astronomical amount of spectral spamming, as long as I'm killing stuff. There we go. Alright, so reload. Long press square for PlayStation. Assume the grenade. I think it actually does more damage than it looks. It's not an uber explosion, but alright. I'm having fun as hell with Strand, but I'm gonna go ahead and swap my subclass. Go back to Solar and check this thing out. I'm gonna keep these weapons for now. Let's see how it goes. It may or may not be different. There we go. Okay. one of them. There it goes. So with the solar build, I'm out of ammo. So if you do the melee proc per usual with the solar build, you're gonna obviously have more grenades. So if you're, not wanting to spam the grenades per usual in this build, I need special ammo. If you time it right, you could probably get 3 explosive shots out of it. Plus, kills with it will restore grenade MP, so gonna have to farm some ammo. I have not tried it out on my Titan yet. I'm sure, most Titan builds that are melee up in the action builds are pretty good, so. There's some teammates. Special game. Oh, I don't have it on this build, probably. That's why. I'll just switch that in gear out. Still dodging. He's caught in a freaking web and he's still dodging. Can't make this up. Oh, here we go, here we go. Special ammo, excuse me. Oh no. So, boom. Get my grenade back. It's gonna be the animation. There might only be like 2 rounds, so. Yeah. You could maybe pull a 3rd one off. That's actually pretty cool. So with the solar grenade buff, Warlock, it's actually going to be a pretty good combo. So you're not spamming the grenades like normal. I get that. And again, this is only 1801, so if you guys are like, artifact 30, power level, like 18, 20, 30, this thing's probably going to get way more toxic in this. Let me try, just for kicks, I'll try my Void now. Nope. Let's do that. I don't think like Strand over Solar over Void is really going to be a significant change in damage. So if you're running it, I actually probably would do more special ammo finder, but if you're doing like Nightmare strikes or something like that, Nightfalls, then it's probably going to be not as viable running special ammo finder. I'm half tempted to try bosses out with it to see how it really holds up. if I could aim, maybe. That's the thing, like, it takes a little getting used to when you have to hold the trigger for fusion before it shoots. But essentially, the more you use it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. Get out of that place. Get fire a little bit. Other than not having many skins to use, I don't like some of the skins on these weapons, but think of it as like a functional use, not so much what it looks like. Actually, not using my Nova Bomb right. The first. Give me something to do. It's just a good spot for special ammo to drop. That's why I'm over here. It's cheesier stuff. God bless it. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think I still like the Strand version the most so far. Granted, as far as functional goes, I feel like the solar is still going to be pretty good. But it really goes with my Strand build. Because essentially, this so far is the best hatchling, like threadland spam weapon I've used so far. It's more consistent, but it's 1800, let's see. There really wasn't anything I could use here, so a lot of people were running with like Strand energy weapon issues. So I was using, stuff I haven't used, obviously. I never even got the Catalyst. That's how much I wasn't using it. The Lamarnarch, and then Telesto, Jotun, just to have an exotic. Because normally I'll run something here or here. Not the energies. Usually my autos. Auto rifles is what I use there, but since the kinetic Strand is an auto rifle, I had to change my loadout a little bit. I feel like the seagulls on Finding Nemo. Mine, 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 mine. It's decent damage. I mean, it doesn't melt them straight away, but normally I use fusion rifles for like a little AoE spray. So if I'm getting mobbed, you can kind of hit fire. But if you got a bunch of little ads running around, but it also will restore your grenade energy. Special ammo, find it back. I must not be killing everything. So yeah, I mean, if you guys got the extra hundo to drop on the pre-order, which the one you have to get is right here, annual pass. And then you get this wonderful gun. Let me get ammo again, Tessellation. But there are other alternatives. I mean, you don't have to use it on your builds. It seems like the new wonderful shiny thing, but don't like spend food money on it or something because you're excited about it. And on launch, you can just go get it for free once the new pass hits. Alright, definitely this stuff. I'm still kind of, working out some kinks on Tessellation and like my ability builds, where essentially I have more like the idea is I want as many threadlands as possible. So like the cooldown I could probably get a little bit better. The one thing I never did so far with my Warlock is get his Artifice armor. So it has a 30 here. Let me see. I don't have any at all with him. That's my bad. So I'm actually going to show you what I'm talking about if you're not sure. So Artifice armor gives you an extra mod slot. And the reason that helps is because you get the perks off it. So I should have this solar build with all of it. But you see it says Artifice armor. Now you only get +3, but it comes in handy on a lot of builds because there it is. I got most of my Titan's Artifice. So like my resilience right now, if I use +3 on it, my strength, which this is also Artifice. I hate sharing gear, but I only have one decent set of Artifice for my Titan. So what happens is you can offset a little bit, although it's only 3, right? That's 2 stats now that'll get the next tier up. Which, having a melee build, I uber buffed melee a little bit. See, hands-on, heavy-handed. So that would actually probably be a lot more viable. Plus the cooldown goes down. Some of those jumps are like several seconds. Some are a little bit higher of a jump. So I like having high resilience, but that could be tier 8, and this would be tier 5. These here, it's like 53, so I would have to get 3 of these to have it. So how do you get Artifice armor? It's basically, I'm not sure which dungeons right now. It might be all master dungeons, but it's still coming off Lightfall season, so that's the raid. Doesn't he even have a dungeon? I don't think it does. When I got mine, I went and did this. So it's not available. So it's probably going to be the one I've been attempting. I'm trying to do a solo. Yeah, 1840. So if you run Master Dungeon, it doesn't say. Oh, it does right there. So Artifice armor, it's going to be a little shitty. This dungeon, in and of itself, is shitty. I've been trying to solo it. And right now, so far, my Solar Titan has had the most success. I just think that I'm a little bit too low power level to do it easily. But if I put this on, I could run this new bad boy. Wait, why is it? It's only going to reward me once. Probably better if I shared it or wait till I get something to upgrade it with. I do have something. So that's why I keep backups. This isn't the highest roll that I like it to be, but it's not going to be 1600 if I get this. Where'd it go? I kind of want to try it out on my Titan. So this can go to. So I have a Monte Carlo build with him, and this is going to help a lot. Vanguards of Indiction. Now I got 2 solar, and that's going to heal me, even though it's not solar. Either Titan's a Void Titan, with Shield Bash, and I was just talking to my buddy about it. So the problem is, if you're running a fire team, let's say you strike, or a dungeon, people are kind of out killing you if that. Excuse me. Out kill you. So, like, if you have a proc that you're trying to get, like the Solar Warlock, you get a melee kill that buffs your grenades. So you get basically 5 grenade spams. Then you lose it, so like your ability goes away, and you have to wait for the cooldown to reestablish, the proc for the skill. Like my hammer, for example. If I go, oops, I miss, right? Which happens consistently. I can still pick it up and it recharges, but let's say it doesn't. You're now at a deficit. So what I'm trying to do right now is get the functional side to reestablish my abilities as to not be like ability starved. Because the higher tier levels you do, the less you're going to have as like far as spamming is concerned. And I think the best affliction at this point is to get it from your weapons. But a lot of times, like let's say you do the higher tier nightmares, or nightfalls, not nightmares. What happens is a lot of people like have to either hide or cheese it from the corners. Which, you know what, let me actually go full potato here. Let's just try it out instead of talking about it. I'll try out Legend. This is a bad idea. Barrier unstoppable. So I should probably have something for barrier at least. How can I pull this off? I don't have a side. What the hell? Let's just do it. So the problem with barrier, aside from unstoppable and overload, is that you obviously can't damage him once he pops his barrier. And then without a barrier gun, like I don't like the sidearm, but Forerunner's good for that as an exotic. There are other weapons, obviously, like I usually run this instead of Forerunner on my Titan, which I could probably just grab it and have it on deck in case the weapon combos.
Preliminary recon
See how good
suggests the
this gun
Lucent
really
Hive are
is.
stockpiling Guardian Light for some kind of ritual.
We'll destroy their stored light if we can. But our primary objective must be removing Hive leadership.
They've been
And
ahead of
this
us at
is
every
above my
step.
pay grade, you see.
Time we
All
caught
these
up.
misses here. Oh wow. Those are just regular ads though. It's probably gonna work out too well, but it's actually doing decent damage. I want to try to proc the grenade if I can get my grenade to charge. See how good the grenade explosion is. Charge grenades. So like, pretty much you see I got a pretty tanky Titan build, but obviously in the real sweaty stuff, there's a lot of run and hide. So what happens is you don't get as many ability procs per normal. So a lot of times these builds are like showcasing them. They're gonna make them look like rock stars. Alright. Why is my grenade so slow? I feel like the DPS should vary based on the grenade charge you eat. There's a chance. Might die on the way over there, but where did he go? Why they dodge every time? Like, so having those procs, like 2-step, 3-step procs, can be a little more difficult. I can't change it now. I'm gonna change it to a different, like faster grenade cooldown, and see if maybe that'll help. One 104. Let's try that. It might not do a lot of damage though if it's a weaker grenade essentially. With the faster cooldown rate. We'll see though.
Cabal intel suggests that the Cosmodrome has
I gotta
become a light
reload though.
storage facility for the Lucent Hive.
They're creating light batteries? What for?
Let's hope we never find out. Get down there and target their leadership, Guardian.
Just some of this trash real quick. I want to see the DPS proc, see what it does. Okay. 37, that was like a 90. Now he's healing. That's not bad. 30 and 90, 37, 90. So I'm gonna try switch back to the other grenade. I think this will be faster to basically reload. And this build, I mean, you can just heal in or whatever. But in the Enclave, if you don't want to do like this battle test on DPS, it is a bit obnoxious and tedious, but the Enclave, I believe, has like a test dummy still, which is here. It should be behind the weapon forge.
Despite our best efforts, the Lucent Hive have stockpiled a significant amount of light.
My scions cannot predict the Hive's plan. Only that it must be stopped. No arguments here. Let's bring him down.
Big boy to get it done. 90. So the grenade doesn't matter then. Which means if you're really going to open up the functional ability of it, the lowest cooldown is what I would go with, not the fusion. So essentially, if you're going to be eating your grenade charges a lot, let me try the Enclave and see. Because then I won't be running and gunning as much. So my cooldown is 218, 232. That should actually change. I think 104 is going to be the fastest cooldown. 58 seconds. So I'm actually saving 6 seconds off this grenade. So, upgrading some of those slots for abilities isn't, if you're doing 3, 4 tiers, sometimes it's more viable, but I think it's still here. This is it. What? That can't be right. Give me my hammer back. I think there's a recharge here or something, if I remember correctly. No, it's just ammo. So essentially whatever build, I don't really mess with the Hunter a lot, but between the Warlock and the Titan, you can get, your grenade cooldown as fast as possible. That's just dumb. Why even have it if it's only going to be 2,000 damage? Yeah, let me try. I'd have to go into the dungeon and get to the boss. It shouldn't take too long to actually show. Oh, I'm already at the boss. Never mind. So it's 1790. I'm just gonna try it on some kind of Uber boss. We've seen the champions. Grenade launcher. So if you're trying to get the Uber Threadlands builds, the grenade launcher is good for a lot of ads, but I have to get the first prop. These ads. So I noticed that this section of the dungeon, like, it's hard to get the, oh shit, that's not good. These orbs, but like, if you kill and clear the ads, oh, I didn't get even shit. Get a finisher. Get a finisher. Like, those stupid orbs, it'll show you a red arrow of their direction, because I was struggling with trying to find them. But if there's a lot of ads you leave down here, then it's actually going to be a lot more difficult. Because they're shooting at you in the cage, and it's hard to tell where those orbs are shooting from. But if you clear ads, then when the orbs shoot at you, it actually shows you the direction they're at, so you don't have to guess. I don't like that. That's it. Also fast reload. I just want to get a dang boss proc so I can see the DPS. Is that so much to ask for? I'm gonna hit it earlier this time, so it runs out before the beginning. Puts me in a cage. I normally wouldn't do this though if I was trying to actually complete it. Let's see, there's usually 3 roads. Oops. How some people can do this solo is beyond me. Like, if you're not super high artifact level, like 30 or something, it is such a pain in the ass. Yeah. There. See how that arrow points at it? Just need to transfer it. And I have to get this to turn. So I don't know if these... I need to get solar kills. I'm conserving my ammo for some reason. I need to use the fusion. Alright, timing down further on that. There it is. Alright. Take 5, must not. Just use it. Spam it. This is also why I like using the sword, because you can actually shield yourself. Alright, come on, get back up. Fuck. Alright, maybe we won't see the DPS on the boss, because this combo is not going to work for me. This has a better guard rate than this sword, which is probably better. Some healing down there. So you don't have to actually shoot these guys trying to. Not sure what I'm doing. You just have to be in the circle. Oh, oh, 191. That's good. So it actually does a lot of damage to him. Which 191k is a lot, but it's not for his life. My bonk hammer might actually do decent damage with this build. Another three. So I still like the exotic sword over my fancy Solar Star. I see it. Shit. Oh my god, Jess. Almost had it. Yeah, so this gun with this build, I'm not feeling it. I mean, I think it's a good gun to have in certain builds, but this combo is not going to get this job done. At least not for me. Solar. I'll be fine. But yep, that's the new exotic in its glory. Not too bad, but hope you enjoyed. If you get it, happy hunting with it. Until next time, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.